You've rearranged your furniture 3 times. You've watched the videos. You've bought the cushions, the candles, the rugs. And your room still doesn't feel right. That's not bad taste. That's one silent mistake. And almost nobody in the decor world talks about it. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly what it is, why it's been holding your space back, and how to fix it without spending a fortune. If you're working with a small living room, a compact apartment, or just a space that never quite comes together, this is for you. We're covering modern apartment decor, simple budget home upgrades, and the small shifts that make the biggest visual difference. No complicated rules, no expensive renovations, just clear, practical ideas you can actually use. So what is the mistake? It's scale. And it's the one thing that silently ruins even the most carefully decorated rooms. Here's the truth most decor videos won't tell you. The problem isn't your furniture. It isn't your color choices. And it definitely isn't your budget. It's the relationship between your furniture and your room. And when that relationship is off, everything feels wrong no matter what else you change. Think about the last time you walked into a space that just felt right. Everything looked balanced. Nothing felt cramped or awkward. That feeling wasn't an accident. It was proportion, and once you understand it, you'll never look at a room the same way again. Scale is simply how your furniture relates to the size of your space. When that relationship is off, even slightly, your brain registers it as discomfort. You don't always know why the room feels wrong. You just know it does. And that feeling is exactly what keeps people rearranging their furniture over and over without ever fixing the real issue. This is especially common in small living room ideas gone wrong. People see a beautiful, oversized sofa online, buy it, bring it home, and suddenly their entire space feels swallowed. The sofa didn't look big in the store, but in your room it takes over everything. And here's what most people do next. They add more pieces trying to balance it out. A bigger rug, more cushions, another side table. And the room gets heavier and heavier until it feels impossible to breathe in. The fix isn't always buying smaller furniture. Sometimes it's about creating visual breathing room, leaving deliberate space between pieces, letting your eye travel across the room without hitting a wall of furniture every few seconds. In modern apartment decor, that breathing room is everything. It's what separates a room that feels designed from a room that just feels full. And once you start seeing your space through that lens, through the lens of proportion and breathing room, the solution becomes surprisingly simple. Now here's where it gets interesting. Fixing your scale problem doesn't have to cost a single penny, because the most powerful space-saving furniture ideas have nothing to do with buying new furniture at all. They have everything to do with how you use the space you already have. And that leads us directly into the next layer. The 3 things professional designers never overlook. Once you've addressed scale, the next layer is how you style the space. Most people get stuck here because they focus entirely on furniture and completely ignore light, color, and vertical space. These 3 elements are the backbone of every beautiful room you've ever stopped to admire. Get them right, and your space will feel larger, warmer, and far more intentional. Let's start with light. Most people across the UK and USA rely on one single ceiling light to illuminate their entire room. That one overhead light flattens everything. It removes depth, kills atmosphere, and makes even a well-furnished room feel cold and uninspired. The solution is layering your light sources. Add a floor lamp in a dark corner. Place a small table lamp on your sideboard. Switch to warm bulbs instead of cool white ones. Suddenly your room has depth, warmth, and that cozy interior feel. You've been chasing what without buying a single new piece of furniture. Light is the most underused design tool in most homes, and it costs almost nothing to get right. Now, color. A lot of people default to white walls thinking it will make their room feel bigger. And while white can work, it often makes a space feel sterile rather than styled. The most effective approach for small spaces right now is a tonal color palette. 2 or 3 shades from the same color family layered across your walls, soft furnishings and accessories. It creates cohesion without visual noise. It feels calm, modern, and genuinely expensive without touching your budget. This is one of the simplest and most overlooked budget home upgrades you can make today. And then there's vertical space, which almost nobody uses well. Here's a tip designers use constantly but rarely share openly. Stop decorating at eye level only. When you bring elements up, tall bookshelves, high-hung artwork, floor-to-ceiling curtains, your eye is forced upward. And when your eye moves upward, your brain reads the room as taller, bigger, and more considered. This single shift costs almost nothing. But it's one of the most powerful minimalist home styling moves available to you, and it works in every type of room, regardless of size. Now let's talk about what every genuinely luxury interior has in common, and it has nothing to do with price tags. Whether you're looking at a high-end apartment in London or a beautifully styled home in New York, the rooms that feel expensive all share one thing. They layer texture, not color. Not patterns, texture. The way a chunky knit throw sits next to a smooth linen cushion. The way a matte ceramic vase sits on a polished wooden surface. That contrast is what your eye reads as luxury, and you can recreate that feeling on almost any budget. The rooms that look the most expensive are usually the ones with the most thoughtful use of soft furnishings. A plain sofa becomes a designer piece when you add cushions in different textures, velvet, linen, and a subtle weave. A basic dining table transforms completely with a textured table runner across it. These are small investments with an outsized visual return. This is what luxury living room inspiration actually looks like in practice, not grand gestures, but carefully considered layers that build on each other. Natural materials deserve a special mention here. Wood, stone, rattan, linen. These textures have a warmth and authenticity that synthetic materials simply cannot replicate. In 2026, homeowners across the UK and USA are gravitating towards spaces that feel grounded and organic. A raton penon light, a raw wood side table, a stone effect tray on your coffee table. These pieces make everything around them look more intentional. Now let's talk about where interior design is actually heading in 2026, because knowing which trends have real staying power means you invest once and your space stays current for years. The biggest shift happening right now is the move toward intentional simplicity. This isn't the cold, stark minimalism of 10 years ago. This is something warmer, more personal, and more livable. Minimalist home styling in 2026 is about editing your space down to what genuinely matters and letting those pieces breathe. If your room currently feels cluttered or overwhelming, the answer isn't adding more. It's confidently removing what isn't working and giving your best pieces the space they deserve. Color is making a bold statement this year. Deep olive greens, warm terracotta, rich ochre, and dusty blues are performing beautifully in living rooms right now. The key is committing fully. A terracotta accent wall paired with warm wood tones and cream. Soft furnishings creates a cozy interior that feels genuinely current and deeply considered. That's the difference between decorating and actually designing a space. Curved furniture is another upgrade worth considering. After years of sharp angles, interiors are softening. Curved sofas, round coffee tables, and arched mirrors are bringing warmth and flow into modern spaces. These pieces work especially well in smaller rooms because soft shapes make a space feel more open and less structured. If you're looking for one furniture investment in 2026 that immediately modernizes your space, and a curved accent chair or a round coffee table is exactly where we'd point you. It's one of those cozy interior trends that feels fresh today, but has enough design heritage behind it to stay relevant for years. And here's something worth sitting with before we wrap up. The most beautifully designed rooms you've ever seen, in magazines, on social media, in hotels, they all have one thing in common that has nothing to do with budget or square footage. It's confidence. The confidence to commit to a vision, edit ruthlessly, and trust that simplicity is always more powerful than excess. That's the real secret behind every stunning space. And it's completely available to you, starting today. So there you have it. Scale is the mistake. Light, color, texture, and intentional simplicity are the fix. These aren't complicated design rules. They're the quiet fundamentals behind every room that stops you mid-scroll and makes you think. I want my home to feel like that. And now you know exactly how to get there. What's the one change you're going to make in your space first? Drop it in the comments. We read every single one. And if you want to see how to style a small living room from scratch using everything we covered today, that video is coming next on Home Decor. Make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss it.